Tina Newberry. I'm here in Philadelphia for my show at Schmidt Dean Gallery.
The red borders in some of these paintings, what are they?
They're day-glow earthworms that got trapped in a painting and wrap around some guy stuck in a piece of concrete. It's a thought bubble. My painting life has always been defined by the dream of being other than myself. From the very beginning of my efforts, I've been depicting myself in the lifestyle or even just clothing or posture of somebody else, usually more exciting than the real me. My long-standing crush on the American Civil War has suddenly found an altogether fitting and proper place in my paintings. I had been loath to use the war, mostly because of the tragedy of it all. I feel embarrassed and inadequate to tread in a soldier's shoes. In the meantime, I felt safer as a mere founding father, a persona I have also been using in my work. The Civil War has been the most involved topic into which I have so deeply dug outside of my studio life. However, I had little hope that I could absorb it into my paintings. Kidding around with collages that mostly ended up on my refrigerator in magnet postcard frames has led me to what I do now. It took me an inordinate amount of time to connect these things with my painting. The painted me is the real one who dreams of another me doing a far, far better thing. I like to think this footloose attitude comes with my advancing age and the changes I see in the art world. And lately I wonder if watching the horrible, horrible news every single night while feeling so helpless is feeding my frustration that I am not more useful, powerful, and proactive. But of course, my real life comprises things that the world will little note nor long remember. My most heroic battle is with the complications arising from my advancing scoliosis. It is a lonely, silent, drawn-out type of battle for which I will earn no stripes. Only Richard III could make scoliosis exciting, but of course he died in battle, not from his hunch.
Is it painful?
Yeah.
All the time?
Pretty much. Yeah,
sorry.
I know. Yuck.
I'm sorry.
Yuck. So far, I'm not going to do anything about it because I don't want rods in my back. Or I think I don't. I don't know. I've never had them before. So.
In my view, Tina Newberry is something of an art genius. I believe her to be in the company of such painters as the 19th century Englishman Richard Dadd and the American Gregory Gillespie, both of whose visionary imaginations fill me with wonder. By linking her personal life and fantasies with her historical and cultural obsessions, Tina creates images that are both heartbreaking and extremely funny. Tina explained the techniques behind the two types of depicted characters. There is the real Tina, painted in oils. Then there are the images she is fantasizing about, framed in boxes or thought balloons. These are Xeroxes of photographs that either Tina shot herself or downloaded from the Library of Congress. The black and white heads of Tina are taken from previous self-portraits that she has painted over the years. She often then paints over these collaged Xeroxes as well. What is the intersection of the Civil War and Seinfeld?
I like them both. I'm toying with the idea of kind of broadening into just Americana. In that painting, it's really an intersection between the movie Moby Dick and a particular episode of Seinfeld called The Scofflaw. Newman hasn't paid his parking tickets for 15 years, and a cop tells Kramer the story. The cop has a patch on his eye and refers to the car as the Great White Whale. Blah, blah, blah. So I insert myself into the Seinfeld episode, and then I put my head on top of Gregory Peck's head, strapped onto the whale in Moby Dick, and we're all going down together. Captain Ahab gets all tangled up in the various, harpoon ropes.
So the background is the whale's body.
Yeah, that's actually the whale.
Right.
And so the whale has gone under, and then when it comes up, the other men in the whaling boat see him strapped to the side.
Right.
And then this arm is free, and so at one point the arm goes like this and flops while the whale is going up and down the water. And the men in the boat say, "Look, he beckons. He beckons."
Don doesn't know what a camel toe is. Could you explain it to him?
I've never heard that term.
A camel toe is the unintended consequence of wearing overly tight gym clothing.
I do that all the time. Do I have camel toes?
Well, probably. I think it's the special domain of females, and so the crotch area gets a little graphic, if you will.
Can you point this out in the painting?
Well, there's one here, and then there's a teeny one here, there's one on the mountain, and then I gave one to the horse.
Right.
My mother doesn't wear a hearing aid, so if she can't hear you, it's your fault. The painting is about what she will yell at you, which is, "Look at me when I'm talking to you," so she can read your lips.
What do you guys think of this art show?
I like the stuff on the side of the pictures.
In my head, it's about femininity, because I'm always inserting myself into the man's world. And then I kind of put another layer on the outside of the painting, lace or fufu. I call it fufu. So I put fufu around the edges, sort of just because my exterior is female and my inside is male, and then I'm female again. It's all layered.
Are your swords kind of phallic, or is that?
Oh, no. No, yeah, the swords are definitely man parts. But I don't care. It's okay. So I gave myself one of those little olives.
But you gave yourself a very small,
a very
man
tiny man part, yes.
If you had been in the Civil War, what would you have done?
If I had a bloodlust, like I sort of have, I would have run off and joined up and hoped for the best.
I would have paid somebody to take my place.
That's what I would figure, Charlie the tuna.
I know you're a swimmer, and I see you in one of these paintings holding what looks like a swimming noodle.
Yes, that's a noodle. The noodle is supposed to save my life. I'm standing on something that could be a raft. There's water down at the bottom. On either side of me, though, are images of me at war. So I may need a green noodle to get out of a fix.
Late 20th century Philadelphia produced 4 extraordinary American artists, the painters Tina Newberry and Sarah McEnany, the stained glass artist Judith Schechter, and the wood sculptor Susan Hagen.
We've had common interests, I think, that go back at least a couple decades. I think we've always been interested in using figuration and certain traditional techniques in our areas in a really unconventional and personal way. And we really like each other as people as well as admiring each other as artists.
I asked Susan for her take on Tina.
I've always admired her work as an artist. She has an incredible vision and sense of humor. And the new work here is especially exciting because I've never seen anything like this. It's such an intensely personal vision of her interests in history and her fantasy life, so rich and full of funny details.
You're a reenactor.
No, I'm not a reenactor. However, I am a member of an association that gets together and we shoot real Civil War weapons at targets that break. And I'm on a team that has the name of a regiment, the 1st Delaware, Company A. And we stand shoulder to shoulder and load our muzzle loaders and shoot at cans, pieces of wood, and 4-inch tiles at 50 yards and 100 yards offhand. I had to make my own ammo, and I'm pretty good, actually.
Tina, I bet you're really good at shooting, but you're great at art. With an unsurpassed vision and imagination.
It's all pretend. It's all made up. It's all a dream.